Hello, and welcome back to the Salt Mine World Finals. I am your host, Brian. Today we have 2 more players entering this quarter-final round, but only one will earn the right to challenge oKhaliD in the semi-finals. Before we begin the series, let me say thank you to our sponsor, Give Your Game. They want you to enter their Goal of the Year contest, submit as many gifts as you want to try and win your share of $25,000. Chronic earned the NA second seed for this tournament, after winning 2 of his gauntlet matches in a row. He was stopped by first killer in the NA final. Alpha54 is our EU representative for this quarter-final series. He earned 3rd EU seed by leaping up the league table in the final few days, but dropping his initial gauntlet series to EXO. It's time for the series now though, yeah?
So far, we have had 1 upset in the Salt Mine Worlds, according to the seeding. Lathamir taking out EXO, who was a 2nd seed from EU. Now we've got the 3rd seed from EU against NA's number 2. But a lot of people would favor Alpha in this matchup. He has been putting up some big wins recently. And that's a good start by Chronic. He's almost got the opening goal. And he will pause for the boost seal before leaving his half. Now, both these players are more defensive than average when we look at the pack, when we look at everybody who's in this tournament. But will that affect the matchup today? Alpha already down by 1. And he didn't challenge early here. He's backed off against a solid flicker of the ball in Chronic, and he has not succeeded for it. Now, the players that Chronic struggled against in the North American Salt Mine were those who were willing to get in his face, pressure him non-stop, looking at players like First Killer and Forky. But Alpha's never really that kind of player. He prefers to sit back, and I don't think that's going to work out well for him in this matchup. However, Alpha is one of the best defenders in the ones game. We'll have to see if he can cope with Chronic. So far, he cannot. That's 2 goals already. As Chronic just fires from close range, and Alpha is unable to react. He's not able to read the shots coming in, and he goes down by 2 goals. Now, just like every other game that we've had so far, every other series, the higher seed does get the advantage with the server in game 1. That is Chronic. He's making it work out for him well early on. Just understand these players have been given a limited amount of unlimited restarts if they don't think that the ping is as good as what they're capable of getting on the away server. They are allowed to restart immediately as soon as the lobby begins, or before the countdown begins rather. Alpha decided this one was fine, and he's back within a goal here. If he can't up the aggression, I think Chronic might struggle with him. For now, Chronic is playing well. He decides not to flip reset on the ball here. There wasn't going to be any space to get underneath it, and now Alpha with a chance to clear, but he's snatched at it a little bit and it's gone wide. But look at this from Alpha. He follows up with another shot, and that initial bad first touch nearly led into an opportunity for him. But Chronic's flicks are impeccable. 3-1. And he's looking good already in a matchup that would give NA a 2-1 lead over their EU rivals. And actually eliminate another European player. The only player from the EU server who's already advanced is oKhaliD from Saudi Arabia. Flakes coming up last in the quarterfinals against NA number 1 First Killer. It would all be down to him to keep Europe in the tournament. Chronic has been praised by many for having some of the best mechanics in the world. Just knowing when to use them, knowing when to go on the aggressive side has been his problem. Here he comes again, and Alpha's all over the place. That is a wide open net for Chronic, who was looking to bump Alpha out the way, but he didn't have to, because Alpha has flipped on the spot. Not even half the game gone, and Alpha's already struggling. Chronic darting back to his goal. Pre-flip attempt to save, but it's gone in, and Alpha just managed to see the opening here. Just got enough power on the shot, but he needs to step up. So far, he's looked sluggish, and he's not been, I think, playing in a way that Chronic struggles to deal with. That's an open net miss from Chronic there. If he had put that on target, there was no chance for Alpha to get there. And again, Chronic with a wide open net, and he's got a lot of time to make it, but he doesn't hit the ball hard enough. So a couple of misplays from Chronic early on. Alpha shows him how it's done. That is placement. Chronic with the applaud in the quick chat. And this is where things could fall apart for Chronic. Fake kickoff has also failed. And a couple of plays going against him, not going his way. Could be a tilter. Alpha starting to move up the field and aggress the ball. This is exactly what he needs to do, in my opinion, in order to beat Chronic, in order to pressure him. Alpha tries to slam the ball off his own crossbar as hard as he can. He knows that Chronic is going to be there for the rebound, but it was going to be too difficult. Chronic backed off. Good reaction time by Alpha now. He's struggled early on in the game with reactions on the goal line, but that was good. He seems to be getting better, but Chronic has found a way through. Wide open net if he can control the ball. Alpha's back and making a save to the top corner. Chronic looking for the boost steal. Doesn't get it. It spawned right as he left. But it was Alpha who bumped him out of the way. Things are starting to go in the Frenchman's favor here. But Chronic still has the 1-goal lead. The flicks are causing problems. Chronic's missed a boost steal on the exit. And that's going to allow Alpha to pressure the ball. Look at that 50-50 by Chronic. He's just sent Alpha flying over the ball. And a misplay by Alpha54 gives Chronic the lead. He didn't hit the ball dead center. He bounced off the top of it. So with 1:11 left, Chronic ahead by 2. Alpha looking to make it a 1-goal game again with the bump. But Chronic has just sat on the goal line and blocked it. Brilliant play by Chronic under pressure. And now the game is absolutely his to lose. Doesn't have to worry about a 1-goal game followed by a kickoff. He's got full control. Alpha is struggling. Chronic could have actually gone for a demo on him there, but he's instead driven ahead into the corner. Alpha gets a chance to see what the blue end of the field is like. 40 seconds left. Still 2 goals down. And Chronic's flicks have been impressive this game. This is another one that Alpha can't keep up with. And unless he can really start to challenge the ball earlier or read where Chronic is shooting on these flicks better in games 2, 3, 4, and so on, this could be a big problem for Alpha today. 3-goal lead for Chronic. He's got the ball under control. That should be the game. All he needs to do is play keep away from now, and he will put another one in. Alpha's just flopping around on the goal line, trying to keep anything out. Well played to Chronic. He's made his flicks work when they matter most. That is something that can't be said for everybody in this tournament. There have been inconsistencies in many players' flicks, but overall what we've seen from Chronic in this game is terrifying for Alpha to consider. As we go further on into the series, already down by 1. We'll be glad that we're heading over to EU for the next game, but remember, at some point during the series he needs to win a game on NA or else he will be eliminated in round 1. Chronic takes game 1.
The first game follows the seeding advantage and the server advantage. Chronic leads 1-0. Next it will be Alpha's turn to make the best of a server advantage. But Chronic can solidify his lead quite well if he wins on an away server.
Chronic takes the lead, but Alpha is looking to respond, and he's off to a good start here, but that is not a very powerful shot, and Chronic has kept it out. Bit careless there by Alpha, and to make matters worse, he's taken his time with the follow-up pressure play. He's giving Chronic a way back into the game, but he didn't get into the game for very long. He drove past Alpha and took himself out of it. Alpha is ahead by 1. That was just too aggressive there by Chronic. He wanted to chip the ball into the middle, but did get the miss on it. So with 1 minute gone, or 20 seconds gone rather, it is a 1-0 lead for Alpha. Chronic getting sent into the ceiling by Alpha on the challenge. He'll be looking to challenge the ball as early as he can in the second game, but not only that, but pressure Chronic into his own half, take his boost. That is the only way that people have been able to beat this guy. Chronic, if he's given space and time to do his thing, is exceptionally difficult to keep back as another goal goes into Alpha's net. That was perfect placement by Chronic before he flew down to try and disrupt Alpha's save. He made sure to get the ball right into the top corner, and that's a big problem some players have with their air dribble bumps and air dribble demo attempts, is they don't hit the ball in the right spot before starting to fly into the other player. Look at that read by Chronic. Alpha's managed to recover well here, but overall that's a big win for Chronic. He was in a position where he could have been thinking about backing off and defending against an Alpha dribble, but instead he stayed nice and close, And he gets the possession for himself as another flick troubles Alpha, but stays out of the net. Chronic looping back around. He's got Alpha on the wrong foot here, but Alpha gets goal side with a big challenge, and he will take the 2-1 lead. Risky for Chronic. He thought he could sneak that one round Alpha, but well done to Alpha, challenging from the goal side of the ball. He was looking good against a flick or a shot or a mind game there. Pretty much anything he was going to be countering. And notice what Alpha's trying to do. He's not faking as many challenges as he did in game 1. He's noticed that Chronic doesn't really fall for many of those, so he has to get in his face and try and disrupt him as early as possible, because if you let him get right up into your box area, he's going to put a top corner flick on target that is hard to save, sometimes impossible. Alpha off the crossbar and the post, denied the 2-goal lead, but he will turn early again. Look at the change of gameplay by Alpha. This has caught Chronic off guard. If he's going to counter this, he needs to start moving the ball more quickly. He doesn't have a lot of boost in this play. Gonna need the flip reset to reach the goal. Does not get it. Alpha open net. He's hit it high into the bar, and Chronic beats him to the rebound. Perfect landing as well. He's got the open net, and he's just gotten high enough to put that on target. But that defense from Chronic has kept him in the game here. He was going to be 2 goals down. Alpha's shot going too high into the bar was a misplay though. He had the open net there, didn't need to hit the ball high. It was only that let Chronic get back, but that's a much better bump by Alpha. He failed a couple of these in the last game. He left nothing up to chance here though. Right into Chronic with a dodge. Gets his goal lead back. This is the pattern we're seeing so far in game number 1. Chronic equalizes, then Alpha gets straight back in front. He's got a lot of space on the right hand side of the field. Decides to just go straight down the middle though, and that's a very timid flick for Alpha. Not too convincing. Chronic's shot looking better, but Alpha's got that under control as well, and he's playing for the counter-attack instead of the boost. But these guys are just too good at saving these shots. I doubt any of them are going to go in. The recoveries are perfect as well. Chronic landing on the crossbar and getting right back into the play, taking the ball and the boost away from Alpha. 2 minutes remaining. Here comes Chronic again, but look at Alpha. He knows, after seeing it all game 1, he knows that Chronic is going to make those light touches. He wants to get as close to the goal as possible before making a play. When is Chronic going to start making early plays on the ball in the midfield? Well, there was one, but Alpha's managed to read it and faked a challenge to counter. Really nice play by Alpha all around in defense in game number 2. He's keeping Chronic guessing, and he's managed to mix up his game to prevent Chronic from seeing what's coming. Another challenge successful for Alpha. Flicks are just not there for Chronic because he can't get into position to make them happen. He's had plenty of opportunities to dribble the ball, but none of them are resulting in threatening chances on Alpha's net. Into the air we go, close to the ceiling. Alpha up early. The ball has gone past him, but it's wide. And Alpha, with a wave dash demo, retakes control. Big plays in defense from Alpha54, who's trying to bait Chronic forward. Chronic is not falling for Alpha's tricks here. He knows that there's a shot coming, and that's a perfect touch in the back wall by Chronic, so he can take control of the situation. He's got enough boost saved up to make something happen here. Reads Alpha's fake challenge and sends a shot that Alpha has to put into the crossbar. Chronic looking for the rebound for the equalizer. Alpha is way out of the game here. The demo coming in. Wide open net. Chronic, I believe, has done it. You know, credit to Alpha. He defended well for most of this game, but he let his guard down there. Sitting duck for Chronic to demo. And it was that boost management from Chronic, the catch on the back wall with 50 boost remaining. That was huge. That's the play that's got him back in this game, and he's looking for the win now in regulation time. Where's Alpha? He's nowhere to be seen as the ball goes in the bottom corner. And for the first time this game, Chronic takes the lead. Just sneaks in there for the boost in the midfield. Alpha had fully committed to it, and now he's in a whole lot of trouble. He needs a win here, or he'll be 2-0 down and heading to NA for game 3. Just 20 seconds left. Alpha sees an opening, but Chronic is there to shut the door on it. And I don't know if Alpha's going to find a way through from here either. This is a really difficult position. Goes for the floor pinch. Gets the ball back. High shot. Goes in! And Alpha never gave up on the play. He really had to work for this one. Just popping a light shot on target forced a bad save out of Chronic. And the second shot was nowhere near as slow. 6 seconds left in regulation time. Chronic will get a chance here. Ball is going up before 0 seconds, but Alpha's dominated the challenge. My goodness, that almost went in. And we are in overtime now for game number 2. 1 goal for Chronic to give him a 2-game lead. And he's going to get a great opportunity here. The kickoff has sent him straight on target. And Alpha54 is in huge trouble. He's just lost his home game. And now he goes over to US East. 2 games down.
Thank you GIF Your Game for sponsoring the Salt Mine Finals. Click the links in the description to find out more about their $25,000 Goal of the Year contest. 2 games down is not a good place to be. What can Alpha do to remedy this?
Surely this is a must-win game for Alpha. If he loses this, he's going to need to win 4 in a row. 2 on EU and 2 on US East. Here we are on US East server. Alpha already lost game 1 here, but he's off to a good start. Mind game goal at the back post. All it needed was a little wiggle, and he convinced Chronic that there was a shot incoming. 1-0 to Alpha. He was actually leading by 1 goal for most of the last game. Chronic constantly equalizing, forcing him to fight for that 1-goal lead. And eventually, Chronic started to take control. It was initially Alpha's defense and adaptations that got him in front, but Chronic was smart in the final minute there. He played a brilliant clutch finish of the game, and what a save that is by Chronic, denying Alpha a 2-0 lead. Alpha must be surprised to see just how effective Chronic is on the goal line against most players. That's one area of the field that Alpha can dominate in, and Chronic reads his challenge coming in fast and now ties things up without much time wasted, just like we predicted. Chronic has realized that Alpha is moving up his line of attack, that he's trying to put pressure on Chronic. That's exactly what Alpha needed to do. Just have the threat moving forward. Chronic is pretty good at moving the ball quick as well. Speaking of, Alpha knocks one past him off the ceiling. You're going to need to get an incredibly fast reaction to this in order to have any chance. Chronic dove at the ball there. I wonder if staying on the goal line, getting as far back as possible, would have been a better route of action. He did go for the pre-jump. Couldn't make it work out. Alpha beating Chronic to a few consecutive balls. Chronic lunging in with a pinch challenge. Doesn't have a lot of boost here, but he has got ball pressure. Smart boost steal there by Alpha. That's what Chronic was looking for. And look at Alpha again, coming in for another ceiling shot. This one has not worked out anywhere near as well as the first one. Chronic thinking about a wall shot there, but instead brings the ball down for the dribble. It's another early challenge for Alpha. This one works out just as well as the ones last game, and Chronic needs to start seeing these coming. He did for his first goal this game. He saw Alpha moving in and popped the ball over him. This time he sees Alpha moving in and he doesn't react. Like Alpha's faking enough challenges last game, maybe, at the end, to convince Chronic that was going to be a fake as well. Or at least from what I can see, the vast majority of Alpha's moves in defense have been real challenges. He's going for ball pressure whenever he can. Chronic has to start seeing that coming or he's going to be in huge trouble. Good timing on the boost respawn for Chronic. He doesn't predict Alpha's movements here though, but he will immediately afterwards. And you don't need that boost, Chronic. You've got an open net. And he's going to take it with just under 2 minutes gone. That's a really nice snipe there by Chronic. Initially he was expecting a 50-50. That's not what Alpha went for. But even after misreading that, Chronic was still in control. Still able to see the opening to get the demo and get back within 1 goal. Alpha in the offensive corner gets completely shut down by Chronic, and he's lucky that that didn't go on target. No way he would have been catching up to that. Chronic trying to get in Alpha's face. He wants him to flick the ball to him, and that is exactly what Alpha's going to do. Chronic sends it to his own back corner. He's got a lot of boost saved up here, so you're never going to doubt his ability to take control of the play here. And away we go with the flip reset attempt. Chronic has missed it though. No reset on the ball. And in fact, he's just passed it right to Alpha. That's not something you expect to see from Chronic. Usually he's so accurate with his aerial plays, but Alpha saw him miss that one. He knew something must be going wrong for Chronic to be flying down to the ground. And he moved right in for the open net and a 2-goal lead. Are we really going to see another server game going to the away player? Another flip reset attempt by Chronic. Another one doesn't work out, but does try for the top corner shot also. Shut down by Alpha, who's taking the ball into the air himself. Slow-mo air dribble. Chronic has intercepted it. Landed with 0 boost in goal. Alpha trying to sneak it by him. Chronic is too quick. All these wave dashes in the wall must be making Alpha think that a hard shot is incoming. Chronic launches a flick into the bar. Not intentionally for him. The 50-50 has gone his way. Chronic finds a way through. And he is within a goal with 1 minute and 43 remaining. Pressure back on Alpha. If he doesn't get a good kickoff here, he might be set to lose the lead once again. Just like he did several times in the last game. The problem now is that he doesn't have any other chances. This is it now for Alpha. Lose this, and you need the reverse sweep. If you want a normal series with a back and forth scoreline, you got to win this game. Chronic lands on the boost in the back corner. He's got space out left. He's going down the middle. Bump likely to be coming, but he's accidentally backflipped. It really did look like Chronic was going to go for some sort of bumping play there. Alpha looking with the top shelf shot. He's hit the bar. Both players connecting with the crossbar in this game, but Alpha still ahead by 1. Just over a minute remaining. Chronic faking a lot of challenges right now, and I don't think Alpha's going to fall for too many of them. He just wants to move the ball to safety. Chronic gets a flip reset on Alpha's car and dodges into the boost pickup, and away he goes into the air. Tries to keep the shot as high as he can. Keep it as threatening as possible. It's a decent catch by Chronic, but the flick leaves a lot to be desired. Alpha looking for the 2-goal lead, and he will get it down the middle of the field into the open net. Chronic just too slow and way too low with the flick. And just after getting ahead by 2 games, immediately getting a win on the EU server, Alpha responding here. 30 seconds left. Can Chronic get back in this game again? That's a nice save by Alpha. Chronic trying to fly right in front of the ball, but Alpha got past him. And now he's going to waste some time in the back corner. This is exactly what Alpha should be doing. And he already knows the game is won if the clock hits 0 or close to it. Before Chronic can score a goal, he needs to move quickly. Chronic knows that, and he's going for a quick flip reset play, but it's come off the bar, and there's no rebound in store. Alpha on the board with a win on the away server. Now we head to EU, see if he can tie things up, send us into game 5 with an even score.
Alpha54 fights back to take an away server win of his own, bringing the score to 2-1, which gives him a very good chance to tie the series up in this 4th game. However, Chronic won't want to see any more of his advantage in the series slip away.
Now Alpha starting to build up some momentum. But just like the last game, you do consider this a must-win for him. So difficult to come back from 2 games down, needing to win 2 games in your away server and in a row. But Alpha's ability to dodge these bumps on the goal line by Chronic, nothing short of extraordinary. Chronic can't believe that one didn't work out, and he's just lost the race to the boost as well. Alpha pops it middle, fakes an early shot just to dribble it into the center. Chronic is getting bamboozled here by Alpha, who marches closer and closer to the goal, taking a bigger boost advantage everywhere he moves. Chronic off his own crossbar, gets a clear ball, but not too far. And that is a frustrating goal to concede for Chronic. Very difficult to get a big clear there, but that's the only thing that would have worked out for him. He had to get the ball further away, give himself some time to sort of level out the boost advantage that Alpha was building up a bit. Alpha trying for a flip reset on the ball and a slow roll setup, looking like a very similar position to the one that Alpha just scored from, and actually looking like a very similar to position 2, all the matches that Chronic lost in the NA Salt Mine. This is the position that he doesn't enjoy playing from. Completely pushed back on his goal line for minutes at a time. It's when he can dart in, make a save, and then leave again that he feels more confident. Being pinned back like this is frustrating Chronic. He's taken himself miles out of the game there, just because he forgot what it felt like to be close to the orange goal. 2-goal lead for Alpha. He starts to establish some real control in this series. And now Chronic is in a world of trouble. Of course, he still has the small advantage, even if Alpha wins this game. Because Alpha would need to win at least one of the US East matchups. Perhaps both, if you lost the EU one in the middle. This is not what Chronic needs right now. He wants to get the ball back under control. He doesn't just want to be a spectator in Alpha's free play, but that's what it feels like right now. 4-0 for Alpha54, and Chronic is motionless in the halfway line after bouncing over the ball on a 50-50. Nothing is going right for him in this game. And after a tough loss in Game 3, maybe Chronic's mentality has taken a hit. He thought, surely after taking a 2-0 lead, that was the series over. Game 1 against Alpha wasn't too difficult for him, and he's thinking, let's just do the same thing in Game 3, put this on beyond all doubt. But instead, Alpha wins it, turned around the series with an away win, and he's dominating at home. 5-0 inside 2 minutes. And Alpha, for the worst part, is looking confident. This is not what you want if you're Chronic. You don't want to see Alpha dictating the play. You don't want to see him confidently moving around the field like this, playing aggressively. Great saves by both players, first by Chronic and then by Alpha, as the ball switches sides. Chronic's was a better save overall because it did get him a turnover of possession. Alpha's did not. He had to work for it afterwards. And Alpha's pressure is really starting to get to Chronic now. It's not the same quiet Game 1 that we saw from Alpha, where he's not moving up and not putting any kind of pressure on Chronic's dribbling plays. Now he's really getting in his face. He's not giving Chronic any time to think. He's mixing it up as well, though. Oh, nice snipe by Chronic. First goal of the game for him. It looked like he might be too high, but last second he dives down and destroys Alpha on the goal line. That's all he needed to do, land on him. But he gets the demo, which is even better. He's finally on the board just after half-time. Alpha playing a very early shot after the kickoff. He didn't have a lot of boost, but he fairly drilled that one on target. This is going to be on target as well. Rebound for Alpha, uncontested. And where did all of Chronic's boost go? He ended up with 15. Thought he was going to get his back corner one, but he was mistaken. Alpha snatched it from right under his nose. And Alpha still looking absolutely dominant in Game 4. Chronic has to try and stabilize here. He gives Alpha many more goals, then his confidence is going to be shattered going into his home server Game 5. Alpha, meanwhile, will be thinking that another upset, another surprise win is in store. If you looked at Game 1, then you look at this game, you're going to see two completely different matches. First one, Chronic was dominating. He was easily the faster of the two players, but now Alpha is miles ahead of him on every play. Chronic, he just can't keep up. Whether it's a problem with boost efficiency, whether it's a problem with reading what Alpha is doing, or if he's just messing up his turns and his landings, can never be too sure. But what I do know is that Alpha's aggression has caused him a world of issues now. Chronic is going to get one more goal back. He sneaks one over the top of Alpha's challenge. Just got it by him there. It's important that he did. If that ball had gone into Alpha's hands, I don't think Chronic would be coming back in this game. Alpha looking for the kickoff goal. Good speed into position. And that's an 8-2 game now. Every time Chronic gets a goal, Alpha responds immediately. Just in case he had any thoughts of a crazy comeback happening, Alpha's saying it's not going to happen, my friend. We are going to Game 5 with a tied-up series score, and Chronic is motionless here. That might be a forfeit, and it certainly will be if he doesn't move. We'll just have to give him one. Let's wait and see. I'm intrigued. I want to see what's happening next here. Alpha, likewise, he's going to practice his flip resets while Chronic sits still. Oh, he's back. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what that was. Hopefully it's not a... Oh, it might be a connection issue. Oh, controller DC'd. Okay. Looks like he tabbed out to fix the controller issue, and now he's back in. But really, this game is already over for Chronic. He doesn't have too much of a chance to come back from 6 goals down against a defender like Alpha, especially against someone who's moving around as quickly as he is and playing as confidently as he is. Nice little pinch goal here by Alpha into the bottom corner. These two are just going to warm up their mechanics for the remainder of the game, it would seem. Started off with a best of 7 today. It's about to become a best of 3. Chronic still with the advantage, coming in as a higher seed from his region. But that might not be the case. It seems like Alpha has all the momentum on his side. It seems like he's the one in a better mental frame at the moment. Unless Chronic can reset, unless he can start the next game fresh, he's going to have a real struggle on his hands, losing 2 games in a row now and not looking good while doing it. Alpha, meanwhile, has been dominant. He's been very impressive, and he ties up the series after initially going down 2-0.
Chronic suffers a controller DC, but at least he doesn't blame the game loss on it. Alpha54 has drawn the series level, but still needs at least one more away server win if he wants to reach the semi-finals. We're down to a best of 3.
Can Alpha keep up the pressure? Can he continue this impressive run of form? Now would be a great time for Chronic to get a win on the board again. And Alpha's aggression, his challenges, fake challenges, have been messing with Chronic's timing. They've been keeping him guessing. It's an attempted double touch off the floor on a counter attack from Alpha. He got a bit too much in front of the ball though. But he's still moving around with purpose here. He's outpacing Chronic, who's managed to sneak the ball past him. Now, if you are going to get outpaced, you need to make your flicks, you need to make your outplays work. And this one was absolutely perfect. How about that for placement from Chronic? Just getting underneath the ball before popping it to make sure that Alpha wouldn't be able to make contact. And it's about time, and it's an ideal time, that Chronic does get a lead in a game. And he might be about to get a 2-goal lead here. Alpha is clear, goes nowhere. And Chronic is back in the driver's seat. Very nice shot by Chronic. The fact that it's dipping slowly on target makes it very awkward for Alpha, because he doesn't have any real power on the ball to deflect it with. Makes it a lot harder for him to clear the ball into any real distance. Now Chronic retreats down the line to try and hold on to this 2-goal lead that he's established. Nice demo dodge from Chronic, but Alpha still got the ball. Not just thinking about getting the demo, he's also got a backup plan to collect the ball if he doesn't get it. And he's managed to sneak a goal past Chronic here. He looks to be shadowing a bit too close. He was just about to turn around and challenge Alpha by the looks of things, but he couldn't get there, and Alpha messing with his takeoff as well made Chronic unable to reach the ball on his goal line. Just 1 minute gone in the game. Alpha's shooting is still such a heavy hitting player. He is still very impressive, but Chronic gets another goal relatively free as well. I don't know where Alpha was going here, but if you're not going to challenge that ball, you better hope that your opponent misses an open net, because there's really nothing else on your cards there. Alpha all in, and Chronic misplaying. Never a good idea to rely on that mistake. Alpha reads Chronic backing away from the ball, but his own first touch is not entirely what he had in mind, and his flick as well, not what he had planned. And Alpha confident in his speed to get the job done for him. A deft touch online from Alpha. Chronic sends it wide. Still the setup for Alpha was perfect, but he's dodged by accident. That was supposed to be a single jump, or certainly no jump at all. As Alpha was trying to fly down towards the ball, but he's just dodged on the spot and given himself no chance to get there. So with 2 minutes gone, the lowest scoring game that we've seen so far continues. What a save by Chronic, denying Alpha the top corner pop as he was looking for the air dribble bump. I know Alpha might start to get frustrated because Chronic has leveled up his defense, and just like that he walks into the danger zone and comes away with the possession. No boost steal for Chronic. He's playing the ball instead. Wants to try and get another shot on target, but that's not going to happen from this angle. Alpha brings it down, and Chronic's early challenge catches him out of position again. You know, early on in this series, both these guys were playing so passively, and it really got the other player to feel comfortable defending against their dribbles, just waiting back for the flick to happen. Now they're challenging early, and Chronic's goal line saves are really keeping him in this lead. He's still got that 1 goal advantage as he seeks to 1 game advantage. Alpha just gives the ball to him. Perfect control by Chronic on the turn. Trying to put a shot top right. Alpha double touches it off his near post. But Chronic's beating him to this, and it's on target for 4-1. Chronic is playing so well at the moment. Defensively, he has been on point. But it's not just been about the goal line saves. He's also putting in those early challenges to prevent Alpha from just dribbling around for minutes at a time, uncontested. Now Alpha doesn't know what to expect. Is Chronic going to run away to his goal? Is he going to challenge me? Who knows? Chronic's done a bit of both this game, and that's really been the win condition for both players this series, is mix up your defensive strategy. Don't just play one strat all game. These two are definitely two analytical players. They're trying to react and counter what their opponent is doing. Alpha has struggled so much to get goals here, and he's not going to get any goals like this. Chronic is just too good at deflecting these aerial plays wide. Hardly a minute left in the game. Alpha is still only on 1 goal. What a difference that is from last game, where he was able to score at will every time he wanted to. It was just on demand, on target. Strong challenge from Chronic, and a brilliant jump as well over Alpha's attempted bump. So with 50 seconds left, Chronic is in full control. He's got 100 boost, he's got the ball, and he's got Alpha pinned back in his net. Chronic looking for the 5-1 lead here. He beats Alpha to the punch. And after responding to the 2-game deficit, Alpha has fallen apart in Game 5. The incredible goalkeeping of Chronic keeps him in the game, and his patience in offense has extended the lead. 42 seconds left. The ball goes again into Chronic's hands. And Alpha just doesn't have any time left now. He has to go for every single shot. It's a ceiling pinch attempt, failing him now. But you can't fault him for trying. If he doesn't score with every touch, it's just not going to be possible here. Now it might even be impossible. If he does score with every touch, Chronic denies him another goal at the top right corner. How long is Alpha going to go without scoring? It has been a fair while. Chronic's defense has been outstanding in Game 5. Talked about both these players usually having the defensive approach, favouring the defensive strategy. But right now, Chronic has leveled up, and he's showing Alpha how it's done.
Well now, Game 5 could not have been a lot more different from Game 4. Chronic takes the series lead again, and reaches match point. Alpha will now need 2 wins in a row, so what can he do to try and reach that goal?
Alpha down by a game again. He needs 2 in a row, or he faces elimination from the tournament. Chronic going to try and win another game on the away server. He already did this earlier on today. How sweet it would be to do it a second time. Send Alpha home. Get a second North American player into the semi-finals already, with First Killer still waiting to play his series. Could be NA domination, and Chronic does start off well here. Just like in Game 1, Alpha lets him get close and personal, and he doesn't enjoy the outcome. 23 seconds into Game 6, Chronic takes the lead. And you know, for a young man like him, this is a huge opportunity to show what he can do. Alpha's been impressing everybody recently, not just with his ability in 1s, but in 3s. His mechanics have been wowing everybody worldwide. Chronic accepted the mechanical challenge here. That has been at times what this game has been. And honestly, besides the 2-game brace that Alpha got in the middle of this series, Chronic has looked his equal. And at some points, he's looked more than a rival, because Alpha54 is struggling now. Chronic upping the pace, moving around with confidence, and if he can keep this up, it might be the end of the road for Alpha. Oh dear, he's just dribbled the ball in his own bottom corner. I was ready to get into a slow explanation of what's likely to come next. Boost steal from Chronic. Alpha trying to keep the ball close to him, but he kept it a bit too close for comfort there. steered it into the bottom corner instead of wide of it. And Alpha now has just flipped past the ball on kickoff almost. He is falling to pieces at the worst possible time. This is disastrous for Alpha. He only has this one game on the EU server. The next one's going to be on NA, and he has to win them both. Chronic already piling on the pressure. He's got the bump in sight, and he makes sure to connect with it. 4-0. Where does Alpha go from here? Where's the pressure? Where's the aggression that we saw earlier in the series? It's nowhere to be seen. Alpha now hiding in his goal, afraid of what's coming at him, unable to do anything about it. But he finally gets something going. The kickoff is kind to him, and he gets on the board a minute and 30 into the match. Still Chronic with a huge advantage. No doubt he's going to try and work the clock like he did in the last game. We were sitting at a 2-1 lead for Chronic for a long time in that game. Alpha knew that he was under pressure, that he had some problems, but now he's starting to put some goals in quick succession, and Chronic's out of position again. He has to stay composed here. He has to keep his head cool. So he's already probably thinking about the semi-final, thinking he's made it, got the advantage in the series, got match points staring him in the face. But there's a long way to go yet, even if you are good at running down the clock. Alpha's pretty good at coming back. Double save from Chronic. Keeps him ahead by 2. He's going to try and make another ground play on Alpha. Into the air he goes, and Alpha refuses to jump into the way of him. And if you're not going to do that, you might as well FF right now. Because Alpha obviously doesn't want to get bumped here. But you have to at least try to get the save. He was hoping that Chronic had hit that ball slower, that he would be able to recover and get in the way of it. Now an open net shot for Alpha goes wide. It wasn't an easy one to put on target, of course, because the time just wasn't there for him to aim it. You know, it's interesting that Chronic's actually apologized in chat here for going for multiple air dribble bumps in a row. If I were him, I would make another one on the next play that you make, because they're working. Alpha can't deal with them. They're just too accurate. They're too scary. They're too effective. And it might be from Chronic if he can get ahead of this ball. Thinking about dunking this one in maybe. No, just a regular air dribble. You know, even if you're not going to go for more air dribble bumps, just going for air dribbles in general might be a good idea for Chronic, because every time he does air dribble the ball, Alpha's going to be thinking about the bump. That makes air dribble dunks and regular air dribbles more effective against him. Nice little turn there by Chronic. Bit risky, but it's worked out. On he's taking more risks here, driving all the way into Alpha's corner, gets beat to the boost, and Alpha accelerates the ball down the middle. Has he hit it too hard though? Yes, he has. There was no way for Alpha to change the ball's direction because he let it get away from him. And the 3-goal lead still stands for Chronic. Still keeping Alpha back, not giving him any chance to dribble the ball forward. These tight little turns, these tussles where both players are stationary seem to be favoring Chronic. Alpha snipes him on the landing though and puts in a 3rd goal. And he might not be done yet. Great awareness there by Alpha. He noticed the bump and he realized what could happen afterwards. But Alpha's not going to complain about the air dribble bumps that have been coming his way. He does, of course, rely on that strategy himself. And I doubt he would be too salty about that. Losing to a player who successfully smashed him out of the air multiple times. Great avoidance there by Chronic. Brilliant contact on the ball. But that shot has not gone fast enough for Alpha to be too troubled. However, Alpha's starting to rush himself in offense. He's given the ball away a couple of times here. Is he going to come back from this? Oh dear. Chronic almost out of position, but he manages to get goal side of the ball again. And with just over a minute left in the game, still got the 2-goal advantage. Only 1 boost and a failed flick coming in though. And Alpha, with 7 boost, somehow has an advantage in the play. He gives the ball again to Chronic though, who gives it right back. Both players struggling to keep possession in the final minute here, in what could be the final game. Chronic marching forward. Alpha trying to get under control. He's got a dribble started, but where's it headed? Chronic is in the way of it. He doesn't have anywhere to go. And a 37 boost air dribble coming in for Alpha. Just not enough to put a really threatening shot on target. Chronic just playing for the clock here. He knows he doesn't have to put any risky shots on target. He's got a huge boost advantage, and Alpha's got nowhere to go. 20 seconds left. Is this the end of Alpha's salt mine run? As Chronic sends him out in round 1 and moves himself into the semi-finals. This is it for Alpha. If he doesn't score right now, he will be eliminated. But into the air he goes, and he will score! And it's the exact thing that Chronic was doing to him earlier on in the game. And honestly, I'm not surprised to see Alpha go for this late in the match. It's so risky in a close game, but you have to take risks if you're this far down with no time left. Alpha needs a kickoff win to keep his tournament alive, and he's not going to get one. Chronic will eliminate Alpha54. The ball stops on the goal line. Like GGs are called. Chronic advances, and Alpha goes home.
Chronic finds the strategy that works, and gets the goals he needs to win Game 6 and take the series. Alpha, just unable to draw level, does not extend the match to Game 7, and will make his exit of the salt mine. Chronic, with his victory today, secures his place in the semi-finals. He goes on to face what many would say is the biggest challenge in the mine, oKhaliD. Expect to see that in a few days. After a challenging run, Alpha's time in the mine has come to an end, and he leaves with $250. Thank you again to GIF Your Game for sponsoring the Salt Mine World Finals. Remember, you can enter their $25,000 Goal of the Year contest. Check their link for more details. Come back tomorrow to catch the last of the quarter-final matches. First Killer returns to the salt mining operation, and will face Flakes. I hope to see you there. Thank you for watching today. This is the EU Salt Mine. I am your host and friend, Brian.
Alpha down by a game again. He needs 2 in a row, or he faces elimination from the tournament. Chronic gonna try and win another game on the away server. He already did this earlier on today. How sweet it would be to do it a second time. Send Alpha home. Get a second North American player into the semi-finals already, with First Killer still waiting to play his series. Could be NA domination, and Chronic does start off well here. Just like in Game 1, Alpha lets him get close and personal, and he doesn't enjoy the outcome. 23 seconds into Game 6, Chronic takes the lead. And you know, for a young man like him, this is a huge opportunity to show what he can do. Alpha's been impressing everybody recently, not just with his ability in ones, but in threes. His mechanics have been wowing everybody worldwide. Chronic accepted the mechanical challenge here. That has been at times what this game has been. And honestly, besides the 2-game brace that Alpha got in the middle of this series, Chronic has looked his equal. And at some points, he's looked more than a rival, because Alpha54 is struggling now. Chronic upping the pace, moving around with confidence, and if he can keep this up, it might be the end of the road for Alpha. Oh dear, he's just dribbled the ball in his own bottom corner. I was ready to get into a slow explanation of what's likely to come next. Boost steal from Chronic. Alpha trying to keep the ball close to him, but he kept it a bit too close for comfort there. Steered it into the bottom corner instead of wide of it. And Alpha now has just flipped past the ball and kickoff almost. He is falling to pieces at the worst possible time. This is disastrous for Alpha. He only has this one game on the EU server. The next one's going to be on NA, and he has to win them both. Chronic already piling on the pressure. He's got the bump in sight, and he makes sure to connect with it. 4-0. Where does Alpha go from here? Where's the pressure? Where's the aggression that we saw earlier in the series? It's nowhere to be seen. Alpha now hiding in his goal, afraid of what's coming at him, unable to do anything about it. But he finally gets something going. The kickoff is kind to him, and he gets on the board a minute and 30 into the match. Still Chronic with a huge advantage. No doubt he's going to try and work the clock like he did in the last game. We were sitting at a 2-1 lead for Chronic for a long time in that game. Alpha knew that he was under pressure, that he had some problems, but now he's starting to put some goals in quick succession, and Chronic's out of position again. He has to stay composed here. He has to keep his head cool. He's already probably thinking about the semi-final, thinking he's made it got the advantage in the series. Got match point staring him in the face. But there's a long way to go yet, even if you are good at running down the clock. Alpha's pretty good at coming back. Double save from Chronic. Keeps him ahead by 2. He's going to try and make another ground play on Alpha. Into the air he goes, and Alpha refuses to jump into the way of him. And if you're not going to do that, you might as well FF right now. Because Alpha obviously doesn't want to get bumped here. But you have to at least try to get the save. He was hoping that Chronic had hit that ball slower, that he would be able to recover and get in the way of it. Now an open net shot for Alpha goes wide. It wasn't an easy one to put on target, of course, because the time just wasn't there for him to aim it. You know, it's interesting there. Chronic's actually apologized in chat here for going for multiple air dribble bumps in a row. If I were him, I would make another one on the next play that you make, because they're working. Alpha can't deal with them. They're just too accurate. They're too scary. They're too effective. And it might be from Chronic if he can get ahead of this ball. Thinking about dunking this one in, maybe. No, just a regular air dribble. You know, even if you're not going to go for more air dribble bumps, just going for air dribbles in general might be a good idea for Chronic, because every time he does air dribble the ball, Alpha's going to be thinking about the bump. That makes air dribble dunks and regular air dribbles more effective against him. Nice little turn there by Chronic. Bit risky, but it's worked out on. He's taking more risks here, driving all the way into Alpha's corner, gets beat to the boost, and Alpha accelerates the ball down the middle. Has he hit it too hard though? Yes, he has. There was no way for Alpha to change the ball's direction because he let it get away from him. And the 3-goal lead still stands for Chronic. Still keeping Alpha back, not giving him any chance to dribble the ball forward. These tight little turns, these tussles where both players are stationary, seem to be favoring Chronic. Alpha snipes him on the landing though and puts in a 3rd goal. And he might not be done yet. Great awareness there by Alpha. He noticed the bump and he realized what could happen afterwards. But Alpha's not going to complain about the air dribble bumps that have been coming his way. He does, of course, rely on that strategy himself. And I doubt he would be too salty about that. Losing to a player who successfully smashed him out of the air multiple times. Great avoidance there by Chronic. Brilliant contact on the ball. But that shot has not gone fast enough for Alpha to be too troubled. However, Alpha's starting to rush himself in offense. He's given the ball away a couple of times here. Is he going to come back from this? Oh dear. Chronic almost out of position, but he manages to get goal side of the ball again. And with just over a minute left in the game, still got the 2-goal advantage. Only 1 boost and a failed flick coming in though. And Alpha, with 7 boost, somehow has an advantage in the play. He gives the ball again to Chronic though, who gives it right back. Both players struggling to keep possession in the final minute here, in what could be the final game. Chronic marching forward. Alpha trying to get under control. He's got a dribble started, but where's it headed? Chronic is in the way of it. He doesn't have anywhere to go. And a 37 boost air dribble coming in for Alpha. Just not enough to put a really threatening shot on target. Chronic just playing for the clock here. He knows he doesn't have to put any risky shots on target. He's got a huge boost advantage, and Alpha's got nowhere to go. 20 seconds left. Is this the end of Alpha's Salt Mine run? As Chronic sends him out in round 1 and moves himself into the semi-finals. This is it for Alpha. If he doesn't score right now, he will be eliminated. But into the air he goes, and he will score! And it's the exact thing that Chronic was doing to him earlier on in the game. And honestly, I'm not surprised to see Alpha go for this late in the match. It's so risky in a close game, but you have to take risks if you're this far down with no time left. Alpha needs a kick-off win to keep his tournament alive, and he's not going to get one. Chronic will eliminate Alpha54. The ball stops on the goal line. Like GGs are called. Chronic advances, and Alpha goes home.
Chronic finds the strategy that works, and gets the goals he needs to win Game 6 and take the series. Alpha, just unable to draw level, does not extend the match to Game 7, and will make his exit of the salt mine. Chronic, with his victory today, secures his place in the semi-finals. He goes on to face what many would say is the biggest challenge in the mine, oKhaliD. Expect to see that in a few days. After a challenging run, Alpha's time in the mine has come to an end, and he leaves with $250. Thank you again to GIF Your Game for sponsoring the Salt Mine World Finals. Remember, you can enter their $25,000 Goal of the Year contest. Check their link for more details. Come back tomorrow to catch the last of the quarter-final matches. First Killer returns to the salt mining operation, and will face Flakes. I hope to see you there. Thank you for watching today. This is the EU Salt Mine. I am your host and friend, Brian.